Welcome to another edition of Let's Talk Ed with Professor Chris, the best college podcast, where we continue to explore the big picture, the big questions about education and career, but most importantly, the podcast that is empowering minds one episode at a time. I am still your host, Professor Chris, and the author of Getting the Most Out of Your College Experience. Also, welcome again to our new series, Real Cases, Real Students. Today's case has to do with sexual assault, and our topic, or what actually got me interested or prompted this episode of this podcast, was an article that I saw, and I usually do a quick research to kind of see what are the main topics of discussions across campuses, and this one came up. So I figured perfect timing. Also one that I've gotten quite a few experience or knowledge of in the past with my students. So I said, well, it was just fitting, right, to discuss this. So the topic actually was sexual assault on college campuses spread among female students. And it was a research that was done. I'm going to get right into kind of the headlines of this topic. Security reports published in 2025 by California campuses reveal a slight increase in reported incidents of Violence Against Women Act. By the way, that's also known as VAWA, Violence Against Women Act, that crime across all 10 UC campuses and 13 CSU campuses. So security reports published in 2025 by California campuses reveal a slight increase in reported incidents of VAWA, crime across all 10 UC campuses and 13 CSU campuses. Experts say the uptick can be attributed to greater awareness of why and how to report these crimes, improved reporting processes, and greater willingness among more survivors to come forward. Sororities are raising awareness, and some students are protecting themselves by carrying pepper spray and avoiding being out alone at night. So the good news is, yes, as this incident, again, unfortunately happens so often, that we're getting students taking precautions, institutions doing their best to kind of help students report these cases, or putting in the right measures to track these cases. So that is the good part. Since this is real cases, real students, let's see and listen to what our students are saying about this issue. Last May, a UC Irvine student reported being raped at the Camino del Sol student housing shortly after the university's annual spring concert. Since then, some students in the on-campus housing have been living in fear. You can't be by yourself at night or whatever because somebody could get you, said Destiny Anderson, an educational science major. It just feels unsafe. I avoid walking at night because of that. All right, so there you have it from a student in fear of going out at night, because sadly this is happening quite often. As usual, and I haven't done this in a while, let's look at some statistics so we have a better picture, a big picture of the situation. Crimes like these add another challenge for female college students navigating college life. In addition to balancing academics, finances, social events, and extracurricular activities, they also have to worry about staying safe. Female college students between the ages of 18 and 24 are 74% more likely to experience sexual violence, according to an analysis by the Washington State researchers using the National Crime Victimization Survey. So, the number to keep in mind is 18 to 24 equals 74%. So ages 18 to 24 experience sexual violence that high percentage is 74%. Okay. So I'm going to do, as usual, I'm going to leave the reporting part of this whole sexual assault to the institutions. They're trying to figure out how to report, and I encourage students, please, if you've had any incident with this, please feel free to report it as well. But I want to leave that to the institutions to take care of. What I'm interested in, as usual, and what this podcast is all about, is you, the student. So I'm going to provide my 5 top strategies on how to prevent sexual assault or to not even come close to it. All right. So let's get to my top 5. Number 1, situation awareness and instincts. Number 1, situation awareness and instincts. This is what I mean by that. Know your environment. Know your environment. So if something is off, you could probably immediately notice it, see it, and take the necessary precautionary action. And what I mean by your environment is usually, you know your classrooms, you know where that is going to be, you know how to get there. You walk from either your dorm to the classroom. So you have an idea. So just out of the blue, if something is wrong or something doesn't look right, it could be just a tree or maybe some obstacle that always used to be there, but it's not. Or also know your environment, meaning you know the people that usually are within that environment. This might seem very, very simple, but it's a very, very huge component when it comes to sexual assault, because your predators don't just wake up one morning and say, hey, this is what I'm going to do. They are also going to investigate the environment. So it's good for you to know the environment. So if you see somebody acting strangely, you know what is happening. Or probably you can raise your antennas to say, okay, this is unusual. Okay. And by the way, this top 5 is going to seem like I'm targeting and I'm focusing on the women, but so be it, because again, from the statistics that I just read, 18 to 24 women, 74% are the ones that are usually fall victims of sexual assault. So again, my number 1 is identifying or being aware. It's a situational awareness and your instincts. Okay. Number 2, campus safety resources. Number 2 is campus safety resources. I'm just going to, for the sake of time, I'm just going to go right to your number 1 caller ID. This probably should be one of your caller ID. It's your campus security. Your campus security, you need to know how to reach them. And that's usually, most institutions have a 4-digit number, 4-digit code, whatever, to kind of call campus security. But let's say you forget. Guess what? 911 is still the magic number. So when you call 911, and by the way, I believe I've done an episode on this, probably one of my very first episodes, but neither here nor there. If you dial 911, what happens is it reroutes to your campus security, because they are the first responders. They are much quicker to the incident, okay? So it reroutes back to your campus security. So if you've forgotten those 4 digits for your institution, still go with 911. In addition to that, what you need to look out for is those emergency blue lights. Most campuses have it, everybody's required to have it, and usually you're going to see them on a lighted pathway, and that is also one of the things that you need to be very familiar with. Know the lighted pathways. When it's dark, that is not the time for you, by the way, to be taking a shortcut to your dorm. Just go the long way where it's lighted, where you can see it, and where everybody can see you, so nobody's jumping out of the bush anywhere to attack you. Okay? So number 2, again, campus security resources. Know your campus security resources. All right, number 3, friends team. Nobody, yes, to the extreme, people usually don't attack a pack. So even if you're not part of a pack, maybe night times will be, you should find a night group pack. So then if you're studying too late and you all decide you're leaving to go back to your dorms, you're either going as a group or, again, there is nothing wrong with calling 911 just to say, hey, I don't have a friends pack. I need to get back to my campus. Can I please get an escort? Yes, campus security will do that. Okay. So number 3, it's a friends pack. If you get a group of students together to navigate the nightlife, that will probably be very helpful. Number 4, self-defense. Yes, I must admit, I didn't want to go this path, but you're probably going to need some basic self-defense skills. So I talked about number 1, knowing your environment. Number 2, your resources. Number 3, your friends pack to kind of help protect you. But what if you don't have any of those 3? A little bit of self-defense could go a very long way. There are also new programs like the bystanders intervention skills. I didn't know about this, but apparently there is a way, or there's a little program that you can learn. One of those programs, as I found out, was this green dot programs, where it teaches you on how to get people around you or get the attention of people around you in case of an emergency. I believe that's just one component of what that group does. But bystanders intervention skills is a thing that I'm now interested in to learn, and I believe you should also be part of that. So you know how to either make a big noise. It's like you're in the forest and there's a bear coming and making a lot of noise, maybe something like that. But this is a program that teaches you that. But some basic skills, self-defense skills, right? As I read before, students are carrying pepper spray. Maybe that's one area to go to, or that's one way or one method. But some basic self-defense skills helps, and as I also mentioned, the bystanders intervention skills is a thing. And I went ahead to just looking at that program very quickly to see what it does so you can get some skills. My number 5, which I want to kind of just pause a little bit and talk to my ladies here. And believe me, I've had debates about this, but we're going to get right to it. Please don't take this personally. I love my ladies and I help my ladies, and there is nothing more I can do but sometimes cut through the chase to address this topic. Self-portrayal, and self-portrayal meaning how we present ourselves. Ladies, I have had occasions where I've pulled my ladies out of the class, not out of the class, or after class, just call them to have a little chat with them because of the way they're presenting themselves, the clothing they are wearing. It is very, very revealing. And I say, let's get some clothes on, please. And usually when I bring this up to my ladies, the defense to that is, well, the men should learn how to control themselves. Yes, and I get that. And I will address that with the men, but we also kind of need to meet them halfway. So the way we portray ourselves could be also very critical. On number 5, again, that is the reason I made it number 5 is because there's a lot of things I want to share in here. So one, that is the other part also, when it comes to sexual assault, we have to remember the factors or some of the attributes that lead to sexual assault. A lot of evil happens in the dark. And so it's a lot of excitement. So there are the fraternities who have their events, and usually there's drugs and there's alcohol involved, and there are the sororities who have their parties, and of course there's the nightclubs that we go to that is also drugs and alcohols. Okay? So if you are impaired, now you open the gateway for sexual assault. How can we prevent this? My advice to you, my dear students, as I'm being very, very open and discussing, what you should wear and what you should not wear, and my advice to you, especially if you're a female, is to do your best to avoid some of these night activities. Ladies, from Professor Chris to you. I've given you 5 strategies, and every single one of these strategies calls for your action. So I'm going to close with this. Go through my 5 strategies. Please, 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 at the very, very minimum, cut back on your nightlife or be smart about your nightlife. And this is very, very, very important. The nightlife. If I can't control you, if I can't stop you from enjoying the nightlife, then be smart about it. Avoid the drugs, avoid the alcohol, make sure you're not impaired. So please, be safe, be smart. And once again, this is another edition of Let's Talk Ed with Professor Chris, a special episode of Real Cases, Real Students. Today, we're talking about sexual assault. Please stay safe. Don't drink beer. As I'm talking about staying away from alcohol, don't drink beer. But my beer to you is balance. Continue to exercise. Continue to eat well. And please relax and rest. See you next time on another episode of Let's Talk Ed with Professor Chris, Real Cases, Real Students. This is the book that I wished I had before going to college. And it's also the book I hope I had while I was in college. Get a copy of Getting the Most Out of Your College Experience now. You can get it online at Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, iTunes, and Google Play. If you want a signed copy, you can go to my website at www.letustalked.com. Get your copy and let's continue to talk ed. Thank you.